Hi there, good evening to you. I am First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here to bring you a check of the First Alert forecast. Thank you for joining, for tuning in. Appreciate the viewership. And again, before we get too deep into the forecast, we're going to go over some current conditions, how it feels outside right now, and of course a look ahead to your Thursday, the Friday Eve. Gorgeous weather on the way, but some changes as we get into the weekend. Again, we are live in many places, including Atlanta News First, our Facebook page. We are also live on YouTube. Atlanta News First, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, if I say anything in the forecast that has you thinking about the forecast, you have any weather clarifications that you need, feel free to give me a holler. You can find me on any social media platform at Cutter Martin, as the name is spelled there, Cuttermartin, but also Atlanta News First, our Facebook page, our YouTube account, not just weather, but breaking news, anything you need to know. Follow both of those. You can be alerted, little red 1, 2, number of notifications. As we go live, you'll be alerted if you do follow both of those accounts or one or the other, whichever platform you do prefer. I'm going to go ahead and slowly dive into this forecast. We'll start with current conditions. Just got some new data in, 8:02. I was just looking at it, and last hour it was 70 at Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. We got this data in about 5-6 minutes ago, now down to 68, fairly mild given the time of year. Normally, we would be in the upper 50s and lower 60s about this time of evening. 64 in Locust Grove, 60 in LaGrange, 61 in Carrollton. Rome is at 65, 59 in Athens, and 59 in Blairsville. Again, noticing some new folks joining right now. If this is your first time watching Atlanta News First, thank you for tuning in. My name is Cutter Martin. I'm a meteorologist here at Atlanta News First. And not only do we bring you news and weather, sports as well, on TV, but of course across all streaming platforms, and we have our little weather chats about every evening at 8 p.m. I also have them in the mornings, and we'll do them more frequently if the weather demands, if you need to know maybe more information about the First Alert forecast. But as said, it's nice out there right now. Temperature is fairly mild given the time of year, and here is that best news of the forecast. Those clouds cleared out late today. Hard to see now, but the sky is a lot clearer. There are stars there. Of course, city lights blocking them out just a little bit. And sunshine is back in the forecast tomorrow. Even out the door, we have gorgeous weather on the way. So good news. Nothing but good news until, that is, we get to the weekend. But first, let's talk about the good stuff. Let's roll through your Thursday, your Friday Eve, hour by hour. Again, sunshine. Returning to that First Alert forecast. Tomorrow morning, we'll back up the clock starting at 7 a.m. And notice how there are a few clouds, but most are dry. And as we get into the 11 a.m. noon time frame, more clouds moving in from the northwest, though these are high clouds, wispy clouds, nothing that produces any rain. And through the afternoon, we'll have some high wispy clouds move through, and if we time this right, could actually, by 6, 7 o'clock, enhance our sunset. There is a potential for a very nice sunset tomorrow evening if we can time out these high wispy clouds just right, of course, with the timing of the sun setting. Temperatures do peak as they back up the clock here in the low to mid 70s most spots tomorrow afternoon. Even Blairsville right at 70. Gorgeous day with a light breeze, relatively low humidity. And then we're back in the 60s in the evening, just like this evening. And I think tomorrow night could be a little bit cooler than tonight, but only by a degree or two. Not a huge difference between the 2 days. Again, I want to thank you for watching, no matter what platform you are watching on right now. We're live YouTube, Atlanta News First. Also looking at Facebook, Atlanta News First, the main page. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, reminder, you can head on over to either of those platforms, or both, and give me a holler. And as we go deeper into your First Alert forecast, notice how clouds do thicken up a little bit Thursday night into Friday. Here we are Friday morning, 6, 7 o'clock, high clouds streaming in, but still a nice day. More of the filtered sunshine in the forecast as we get into Friday afternoon, with temperatures peaking in the low to mid 70s once again. And then some bigger changes as we get into the weekend. Going ahead and pulling up that 7-day forecast. Notice how Friday, again, it's very nice. But we do have rain in the forecast, spotty showers this weekend. If anything, I think you just noticed the gloomier weather's return. Could be some areas of dense fog both Saturday and Sunday mornings. Look how warm it is to start both of our weekend days. Temperatures upper 50s and lower 60s, in fact, metro Atlanta. Cooler outlying, though, I think in the 50s, even Sunday morning up in the mountains of North Georgia. But for them, that's very mild for this time of year. Afternoons not far from records. Upper 70s Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even Tuesday of next week. And then a greater chance of rain enters the forecast by the middle to end of next week. Not associated, at least initially here, with a front. What we're tracking is an area of low pressure off the southeast coast. Big, disorganized, nothing atrocious here, nothing too bad, but it's going to change the weather pattern, kind of mix things up across the southeast as we get into the middle of next week. Could spread some rain, some gusty coastal winds, some rough seas across the southwest Atlantic, but for us, it simply means an increase in clouds, more of an easterly breeze, and the chance of a few showers invading the forecast as we get into Wednesday. And I think that rain chance will increase a bit as we go into next Thursday and next Friday. A reminder, you can check out that 10-day forecast at AtlantaNewsFirst.com. All you have to do is click on the First Alert Weather tab up top. You're looking at it at AtlantaNewsFirst.com, clicking on First Alert Weather. Of course, there is Fred's forecast from earlier. You can get current conditions, click on 10-day, and there you are. Initially mild, that rain chance into Wednesday. We'll keep it going into our Thursday, our Friday, but I do think as we get into next weekend, some cooler, drier, sunnier weather kind of re-enters, moves back in to the First Alert forecast. Bringing back up that 7-day, notice how conditions as we get into next week, along with that rain chance, they do cool down a bit. So that's going to be the catalyst, if you will, for some bigger changes as we get into the middle and latter portion of next week. Hopefully some cooler air. We'll be back on the First Alert forecast by the time we get into the next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Back to tomorrow, though. I want to get you out the door. Temperatures back in the low to mid-50s, most spots tomorrow morning. Much more sunshine than this morning. There will be one cool spot, though, cooler than everyone else, and of course that's far North Georgia, the mountains of North Georgia. 43 in Blairsville, 48 Dalton, 50 Canton, even upper 40s down in Carrollton, towards LaGrange, Heard County, Coweta County, Fayette County, Fayetteville, Peachtree City areas. Cooler than the city itself. Griffin, Covington, McDonough in the lower 50s, but inside the perimeter, that's where temperatures will be mildest in the mid-50s or so, with a lot of sunshine. Windshield weather, sun glare is definitely a thing again tomorrow. With a lot of sunshine back in the First Alert forecast, you will really feel it, if you will, on those east-west oriented roadways. With the sun rising, of course, you're going to be driving into that, and it'll be a little bit of a glare out the door tomorrow morning. Again, there is that forecast bringing you off of that Facebook feed. That is windshield weather, and we'll bring back up low temperatures. May have missed that. So out the door, lots of sun tomorrow morning. It'll be cool. I think coolest outside of Metro Atlanta, up in the mountains of North Georgia. A little heavier of a jacket needed. Temperatures in the low to mid 40s, maybe some upper 30s up at the peaks. Most of us upper 40s, lower 50s. Canton, Gainesville, Carrollton, LaGrange, Griffin, Covington. Into the metro we go, though, mid-50s inside the perimeter, 285 outside of the perimeter. Temperatures in the lower 50s. Jackets, a good idea tomorrow morning. But be aware, you're going to be shedding the layers with temperatures warming quickly back into the 60s by mid to late morning. By noon, we're approaching 70, and high temperatures tomorrow afternoon forecast to be in the mid-70s. Here is that city-by-city forecast for your Thursday afternoon. Under a partly cloudy to mostly clear sky, 75 in Atlanta, Gainesville, 72, and Athens, 75, 77 in Rome, 75 in Noonan, with a humidity relatively low. There'll be a bit of a breeze, so a nice day. In fact, very, very nice. Probably one of the peak days of that complete 7-day forecast. Speaking of which, we'll go ahead and pull that 7-day back up for you. Notice how it does get warmer even as we go into the weekend. Now, just because it's warmer doesn't mean it's clearer, doesn't mean it's sunnier. We're talking some pretty gloomy conditions, just a very warm, kind of muggy, gloomy weather pattern. With Saturday and Sunday mornings back in the 60s, believe it or not, closer to where we should be in the afternoons this time of year. And also, we have afternoons, despite the clouds once again, and the gloomier conditions back in the upper 70s, some spots at 80 Saturday, Sunday afternoons with more humidity. It's going to be a muggier weekend, a gloomier look. Rain is spotty, though. Don't cancel the plans. It's not going to be widespread or anything like that. Not too worried about the plans, but sprinkles, a couple light rain showers, especially east of Metro Atlanta. That's the rule for our Saturday, Sunday. And then as we get into early next week, sunshine moves back in, but it remains very mild, low to mid-70s. And the kind of mid-morning time. So it's a quick warm-up. Low to mid-60s out the door. You're already in the low to mid-70s by mid to late morning, and upper 70s to near 80 by the middle of the afternoon. But there is that change Wednesday. Rain chance back in the forecast. Area of low pressure Southwest Atlantic may boost our rain chance, and then after that, we could see a more substantial cool down and a drying trend as we get into next weekend. So we're going to be watching that pretty closely. Again, it's not a terrible week at all, but gloomier as we get into the weekend. I want to remind you, some of that new evening data is starting to come in. I'm going to be on here in about 45 minutes on Peachtree TV, the 9 p.m. hour. We'll have your latest first alert forecast, talk about how much rain may fall. Also have your Alzheimer walk forecast and a closer look at that system in the Atlantic, how it kind of evolves, how that could impact the middle of next week. Coming up on Peachtree TV, new data coming in as well. Any updates to the forecast, you can catch them with First Alert meteorologist Fred Campagna, the 10 p.m. hour on Peachtree TV, as well as Atlanta News First. We're back on at 11 p.m. I'll leave you with a live look of Centennial Olympic Park. Have yourself a wonderful evening. And we'll see you on Peachtree TV across the streaming platforms in less than 50 minutes.